Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Driveway Engineer. I am JR, and today I want to show you guys my latest auction find. Your regular watchers of the channel, you know that I have a local auction that I frequent. I have a few of these. I've done this a few times where I picked up generators from the auction, or things from the auction, whatever. This is actually a good size generator. I don't think they make this exact model anymore. I think they've like rounded it up to 9,000 watts. It's a 420cc generator or engine, 7,000 continuous watts. It can peak up to 8,750. It's not locked up, but it is full of shitty gas, which they typically are. It has an electric start. That battery's not only dead but junk. But I want to show you guys what I usually do. What I like to do is I like to buy these tri-fuel carburetors. I just spilled shit everywhere, of course. So I've had this one on the shelf for quite a while. What this is this can be a gasoline or propane or liquid compressed natural gas. So if you have natural gas at your home, for those of you who don't know, natural gas is not available everywhere, especially in rural areas, especially where I'm from in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. But I do have it here where I live. So dual fuel generators are a thing. Champion makes a whole bunch of them. Harbor Freight's kind of started making them. They cost more, obviously, but you can convert these pretty cheap. I think this carburetor was like 35 bucks. I'll leave a link to it in the description. It is very, very simple. You basically just hook up your propane to it and purge it, and off you go. It's 2 bolts. You can run it on gas. I will never run this generator on gas again, but you can run them on gas if you want to. The number one failure of generators is they sit around, they don't get run, and the gas goes to shit. So the carburetor on this model is located right here. I kind of already messed with this a little bit, but I had to get knuckles for a project for another day. But the carburetor's here on the side under the air filter. Usually I'm able to get these all back together like they belong. So I'm going to turn this around so that I can sit on a bucket, because my 2500 is currently very low in the back, and I'll address that by raising it a little bit. But it makes it nice to load and unload stuff though. So I'm going to spin this around so we can see the carburetor and show you guys what we're working with. Alright, so airbox off, and I kind of blabbered over the point of all this. This generator was like $78 from the auction. And the reason to convert it to run on propane or natural gas is if it's running on natural, it'll never go bad, right? Like the fuel in this bowl is certainly bad, and we'll pop that screw and show you here in a moment. So it'll never clog up the passages in the carburetor. It's a simple carburetor. It's got like one needle. I think it's got a high speed and a low speed needle, whatever. It'll never clog anything up. It'll never go bad. It'll never go stale. Propane can sit in a bottle for like 20 years. It'll leak out before it actually goes bad. And then if you can get it on natural gas, you can run it forever. Like as long as there is fuel in your natural gas lines. We just had a power outage here in Michigan, and up north they still don't have power. But if they have natural gas, which they probably don't where they're at, but if they do, they can just run indefinitely, forever. So to kind of cover this for people, if you're a regular viewer of the channel and you know what all this stuff is, just bear with me, because somebody might be following along who doesn't. So this is our air box, air filter. It sat on here like this. these hoses hooked to it. This is a vent from the top, so the fumes get sucked into the carburetor, so they go out into the atmosphere. This is it's like a PCV. I mean, I guess it is a PCV. So vapor from the crankcase again gets sucked into the carburetor and burned. This is our actual fuel line, which I'll disconnect in a moment. The fuel's off right now. The tank's full. I think I'm just going to drain it, but like I said, I don't intend to ever use this again. This solenoid on the bottom, I actually don't know what it is or what it does, but I noted the new carburetor has one too, so I'll hook it up. Just to show, this is a 10 millimeter. All I needed was a 10 millimeter and an 8 millimeter. If anything comes out of here, I expect it to smell terrible and probably be a little off colored as well. Gasoline should be more or less clear. Yeah, see, that's like yellow and gross. Well, it smells like gas. Doesn't smell too bad. This might have been alright. It didn't run though, so I don't know. I'm gonna unhook this gas line here and find a bucket or maybe that little can to run it into. And so here on the arm, here's the governor system. What this does is under load, the engine bogs down. There's some weights inside there that fly in and fly out, and we'll move this arm to keep the RPM consistent. These run at like 3,600 RPM, which all industrial engines do. And by the way, this carburetor kit will work on any 390 to 420 cc engine, no matter what your generator is. If it's a Champion, if it's a Duramax, if it's a Predator, they're all using Honda GX 390 clones or an actual Honda GX 390, and that carb is close enough to get you where you need to be. So, and then if you're using a smaller generator, there's a smaller carburetor. I'll have a link for that one too. If you have like a 212, which would be a GX 190 clone, or a Duramax, whatever. They're all the same, really. So let me get the carb unhooked. Like I said, we'll have to unhook the throttle and the fuel line and the solenoid, and then it should be ready to go. So, all right. So 2 things that will probably delay you guys seeing this video till next week. Well, 3, I guess. This gas is draining out at a glacial pace. Also, I noticed this. I wasn't sure what I had. I have a 3/8 flared fitting on my hose to this 100-pound tank, and this is a low pressure regulator. This is a nipple, so which would work, but I don't know what I'm going to do there. I got to figure something out. So this is how you purge it. You hold this down and you'll hear it go out. This is how you adjust it. The governor hooked up exactly like the other one. Just rotated this around, dropped it through. The spring hooked up exactly like the other one. The solenoid hooked up exactly like the other one. The choke arm is actually the one off the other one. I just popped it on there. It's a little notchy, but it works. The airbox has this nipple on the back of it right here for the vent hose for the gas, and it's not working. It hits the regulator. So I'm gonna cut it off and plug it with some JB Weld or something, whatever I have. I'm pretty sure I have JB Weld. I'll just drill a hole up here next to the PCV, and this part of the deal will be done. I'm gonna change the oil in it. I'm gonna check the spark plug, probably change it. Wait 17 hours for this gas to drain. There's actually quite a bit of gas in there. Geez, I'm at almost 2 gallons here. I think this is a little 2-gallon can. And it actually looks pretty okay. I mean, it's like yellow, but not horrible. It's not brown, so I don't know. I might hook it up and run on gas, even though I just said I wouldn't run on gas, but we'll see. We'll see if we can fire this thing up. It might be okay. I don't know. Let me cut this nipple off the air box and bolt it on, and we'll go from there. All right, so it's pretty hard up against the regulator, but it is bolted on and tightened down. I haven't messed with the settings. I turned the gas on. There's still a little fuel in there. Yeah, I don't expect the big deal about this one is it's big enough to run your house because it has a 240 plug. So let me see. I would have swore I had a can of starting fluid. I do. There it is. So we got fuel on, choke off. We'll put the choke on. Let's give her a pull. That was pretty easy. I wonder if I put any charge in the battery. Nope. That thing's dead. So, yeah, I'll bring you guys back when I figure out whatever I want to do with that elbow to make it work. Which could be as simple as a 3/8 to a low pressure splice. I'd rather not do that for obvious, it's gas. Gaseous gas, not gasoline. You guys see that choke was flopping around everywhere, but it didn't seem to matter. It still ran. There we go. Now she's open. And try again. Had to switch off. It wants to be choked. think I'm going to call that a win for today, and I'll probably bring you guys back another day and show you whatever I come up with there for the propane. But I guarantee it'll work. Oh, it was the right way. It only wanted to run. I have to double check that. Anyway, HiPaCarb, tri-fuel, run on everything. It would even work if you had a gasifier. It would especially work if you had a gasifier. But like near to midterm, for a few weeks, you can count on natural gas being in the line. So, and this, you know, helps you bring back an old generator. So this thing sat outside at the auction house, literally out in the rain for weeks or months. So that's it. 35 bucks. You got yourself a tri-fuel little doohickey. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time on The Driveway Engineer.